Hello guys, welcome back for the March JRPG news roundup. We start with the Falcom news, and as always, big thanks to Hansuke, who continually keeps us up to date. First of all, good times. Hajimari's in-game novel Shunran, along with the Kuro no Kiseki spreadsheet, is now complete. It releases on April the 4th, and there is a video by my good pal February Knight on the Zerofield site detailing how to get it set up on either PS Remote Play or via capture card software. A massive thank you to all of them, I can't wait to get started. In terms of other releases, it was announced that Trails from Zero is due to launch on the 27th of September in North America, with Europe getting it 3 days later. This was also very close to the date stated by the Nvidia GeForce Now leak, which might be an indication as to the validity of the other release dates stated. It was also mentioned that these versions of Zero and Azure will be further optimized from the previous releases, with Durante pointing to aspects like UI scaling and graphical enhancements. The likes of treasure chest messages will also remain. Fast forwarding to the 26th now, there was a Dengeki livestream in collaboration with Neon Falcon. A similar one happened last year, and it was mostly the same in terms of structure, discussing the imminent releases and presenting questionnaire results. We'll start with those questionnaires. Reen won out as the most popular character in all of Falcom's works, beating out Adol from last year. Voters saw Trails in the Sky First Chapter as their favourite game in the series, which was very surprising to me, and there was also a question asked in regards to what Falcom works they want on modern platforms. The Gagarth trilogy won out, with Sky First Chapter following close behind. After this, following some discussion of Kuro no Kiseki and gameplay of Naoto no Kiseki Ad Astra, plus the Dengeki specific Crystal of Kreia, we got a first look at Lavi, our main heroine from the upcoming Cold Steel Northern War anime, which has since been delayed till 2023. This was also followed by details of a tie-in game, though it's worth noting that User Joy, who will be developing the title, are known to go for gacha games, so I wouldn't get too hopeful on this release. Moving to the general JRPG news now, and we'll start with Monster Hunter Rise, as the expansion Sunbreaker will be releasing in June of this year. Good times for fans of the series. Next is Shin Megami Tensei. In an interview with Sega Sammy earlier this month, there was a little tidbit from the director of SMT5, who stated that he wants to expand the reach of Shin Megami Tensei by developing new titles while also revisiting older ones. Now for a bit of love to the fan translation scene. Early this month, there was a post regarding the action RPG Klonoa Heroes Densetsu no Star Medal, or the legendary Star Medal if you will. This game originally released on the Game Boy Advance way back in 2002, but never came west. As dedicated fans do though, they took it upon themselves to do just that, providing a full translation for all of the main story, plus NPC interaction, items and menus. If you're into this series, it could be worth checking out. Moving on now, and this next story caught my attention quite a bit. In the Japanese Nintendo Direct last month, there was an announcement for a title called Loop 8, which I wanted to mention in that video because even though there was no confirmation of a Western localization, it looked absolutely amazing and right up my alley. Well, on the 29th, Marvelous Games filed a trademark for Loop 8 Summer of Gods, which might suggest that we are due to get this game in the West as well. That would be excellent, so I'm going to keep an eye on this in the coming months. Next, we move to the upcoming release of Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. With 100 heroes following in 2023, this game will ultimately set the stage for some of the character arcs present in that game, though gameplay between the two will be different. Rising will offer a 2.5D side-scrolling experience with action-based gameplay, and we got a look at this in a 28-minute gameplay video released by publisher 505 Games. If you're interested in what Rising is likely to offer upon its release, then you can check that out via the link in the description. On to Bandai Namco now. Tales of Arise is getting a soundtrack release in May 2022. This comes with 7 CDs and 133 tracks split between a standard and limited edition. The latter, costing 7,500 yen, comes with a sleeve and an art book. Though this is only available in Japan at the moment, there's a chance it will also be made available in the West. There's also been an update for crossover downloadable content between Arise and another newer release from Bamco in Scarlet Nexus, but this is mostly just cosmetic. However, this month's highlight for me came in a livestream from the great man himself, Brandon Sanderson. On March the 29th, Sanderson was sent a package from the publisher in relation to Elden Ring, and in that package was a letter stating that they would like to collaborate with him in the future. Of course, they've done so with George R.R. Martin on Elden Ring recently, and maybe this could be more of the same but with Sanderson at the helm. For those who are unaware, he is one of my favourite authors ever. He completed the long-running fantasy epic The Wheel of Time following the passing of Robert Jordan, but has also created some excellent works of his own, including the Mistborn trilogy and the Stormlight Archive, which is currently ongoing. I realise this is merely at the early stages, but I'm hoping it coalesces into something in the near future. Moving to Square now, quite a few things to go over with them. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin released on the 15th of March, and its critical reception has been fairly decent for the most part. However, in terms of sales, it hasn't done too well for its first week, ranking as the 4th lowest for a Final Fantasy spin-off. However, it's worth noting that this only considered physical copies and was only based on the Japanese market. Sales figures recorded were just under 47,000 units in this case. Triangle Strategy on the other hand hasn't done too badly, selling 800,000 units worldwide as of the 18th of March. The development team shared some original artwork to celebrate the occasion. It wouldn't surprise me if it's closing in on the million or has since eclipsed that by now. In terms of Square themselves, they have launched a music channel on YouTube with over 5,500 tracks available, covering a wide berth of series like The World Ends With You, Nier and Chrono Trigger. Talking about Chrono Trigger, that received an update for the PC and mobile versions on the 11th of March. The update encompassed control improvements, a 21:9 display ratio, more save slots, and an auto battle option with the option to speed it up to 1.5 times. In this case, it also seems fitting to mention Chrono Cross: The Radical Dreamers. The remaster of the PS1 classic, due out on the 7th of April, is also getting a vinyl set in June of this year, containing 7 arrangements and 1 original track. It's worth noting as well that the listing for the game is live, and it will be $40 at least in the case of the Switch version. Finally, as part of the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary, some more merchandise was made available to order, like these various sets of glasses and some expensive necklaces via U-Treasure, which are quite similar to the ones from Tales of Arise a couple of months back. A quick mention to Atelier now. It appears that Sophie, in tandem with the release of Atelier Sophie 2, is also getting a new figure. There's already one due out from Alta in April, and now there appears to be this one, which only has a prototype available as of now. Figure collectors can keep an eye on this. And before we move to the upcoming releases section, there was an interesting tidbit from CyberConnect 2 for Fuga Melodies of Steel. It was reported recently that this passion project of the team, despite its quality, didn't perform too well in terms of sales, not even recouping its development costs. However, CyberConnect 2 have said that they won't let that dissuade them, and have stated that they want to create both a second and third game to expand the mythos. Now for the upcoming releases and events. Let's start with New Game Expo that occurred on March the 31st. For me as a JRPG fan, nothing much that I cared about, if I'm honest. There was an announcement that Undernaut Labyrinth of Yomi, a dungeon crawler, is coming to PS5, and some updates on a bunch of visual novels like Jack John. The only thing that caught my eye personally was the announcement that Ys 8 is coming to PS5, and that naturally comes with a rerun of the limited edition which you can pre-order. Other than that, not much else. I think PAX East will be a bit more eventful. So back to the game specifically, starting with Neptunia X Senran Kagura Ninja Wars. This is getting its PC release in May. We knew it was coming, we just didn't know when. So that's good for fans of the series who will have it on PC, Switch and PS4 at that time. The indie psychological horror RPG Omori announced that a physical release is on the way for Switch and PS4, shipping on the 17th of June and priced at $35. This game is due to release on the platforms in Q2 of this year, following its initial release on PC in 2020. Arknight's Enfield was announced for mobile platforms and PC on March the 17th. As the name suggests, it's part of the Arknights universe. It's described as an RPG with strategic elements, and at present it's only in the early stages of development, with many facets like art and conceptual designs yet to be finalised. Moving on, Dusk Diver 2 is set to release for PS4, PS5 and Switch this summer following its initial Japanese launch. It's also currently available worldwide on PC via Steam. The launch edition will come with some extra goodies like an art book and soundtrack. Something for One Piece fans next, as it was announced that One Piece Odyssey is due out this year for PC, PS4, PS5 and Xbox Series. It will be published by Bandai Namco and developed by ILCA, the team behind Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I looked at the synopsis and I couldn't tell if this was an original adventure or if it follows some of the arcs, but it looks cool. I most likely won't play this though, as I'm not too big on One Piece, but something for the fans there. This, however, did interest me, as it appears we're getting a new title on the 3DS. Not to be mistaken with Vagrant Story, releasing on the 21st of April is Fragrant Story. It's produced by a small team known as Squire Games, who are also working on another project called Cosmo Break, which is obviously inspired by Chrono Trigger. According to the synopsis, it's a strategic RPG utilising a team of so-called floristas that also incorporates real-time elements. I'll link the site in the description if you want a deeper look. Finally, we end with 2 announcements from Square Enix on the 9th of March. Eiyuden Chronicle, a real-time strategy game, is coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox Series, Xbox One, Switch and PC, and launching in 2022. I looked at the trailer and it looks pretty cool. Check it out if you're interested. The other announcement referred to a new title in the Valkyrie series called Valkyrie Elysium, an ARPG spin-off for PS4, PS5 and PC, also due out in 2022. It's worth noting as well that this game is not being developed by Tri-Ace, who are currently working on the new Star Ocean. This game will be developed instead by Soleil, though Motoi Sakuraba is returning to offer his services to the OST, and Yuya Nagai, known for his work on Nier Automata, will be handling the character designs. I had a little look at the trailer, as all interested parties do, and I must admit that combat looks a bit stiff, though I am on board with the art direction. We'll see when it releases though. And that is it guys, your March 2022 JRPG news roundup is complete. Give us a like and subscribe if you haven't, as it really helps the channel out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.